Are you, Annie?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Robert Kahindi. Annie, sorry. Annie, you can say hi to us also and as you greet the other members. You can tell us how you have been.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be with you today, and it's been a good week. Getting very enlightened by the book. I'm really happy that we have another session today that we can, learn together and grow together to become the purpose-driven leaders that we are. So thank you very much.
Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Paul Mushake, how are you? You can say hi to us.
Hi to you, madam.
Yes, hello.
I'm excited to be in the meeting today.
Yes.
I thank God for each one of us as we continue to learn. I'm excited about this global leadership training because it's making a difference, not only in my life, but also in the life of people I'm dealing with. I'm also happy that I've been able to connect with all of us.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Yeah, I'm also excited. I in the group I have a name. I have a I think we have a namesake there. One of my daughters is called Annie Nyambura. And I don't know whether she's the one, but I'm enjoying to have a daughter in the group.
Thank you very much, Dad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Paul. We are glad.
Welcome.
Reverend Kahindi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, moderator?
Fine, thank you, sir.
I'm glad to see you all today. I am expecting a very exciting evening today of learning the role of leadership. At least I get some more understanding and enlightenment on this. Every time we come to class, there's always something I pick. I don't know how, but maybe it's unique to me. Every day is a learning day for me. So today, thank you. I'm glad to see all of you online, and let's enjoy together.
Thank you so much. We're glad that you're all here. And Joseph can also say hi to us as he takes over.
Okay, good evening, leaders.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's another evening, and we are all excited, very excited to hang out with you this evening as we learn together. It's a big privilege. It's an opportunity that we are grateful to God just to get such a company. It's great to be in a company that you have a desire to grow, and I think this is really encouraging. We have conducted a lot of training, and I think when it comes to issues where people really need to do a lot of investment, there is a lot of sieving that is done. Sometimes you start with maybe 10 people, but by the end of the day, you are estimating you'll have maybe 3 out of 10 who will stick to the journey to the end. So having you on board is really a great excitement to us. And our principle is, even if we have 1, 2, 3, 10, 100, the quality is still the same. So we don't change anything because of the numbers, but we focus on what we want to give, and that becomes our guiding principle. So we're very excited to have you today, and we're going to have another exciting time. I remember where we left last time, and I think even for us as facilitators, we were really enjoying the session. So we believe that today's session also going to have a very exciting time together. As we look at the two lessons that we're having today, we'll not wait. Our principle is that when it's time to start, we just kick on, because we are talking about leadership. So those are some of the issues that we are addressing when it comes to issues of the very precious resource known as time. So those who will join later, they'll just follow the recording. Yes, here we are. So we're going to move to the lessons that we are looking at today. And we are on lesson 9. We're on lesson 9 and lesson 10. So I hope your manual is ready with you. You're ready with your manual there so that we can just kick on together. Let me check where we are today. Lesson 10. Which page are we on? Just ensure we are together.
Page 46.
Page 46, great. So page 46, the role of leadership. Yeah, this is an interesting topic, the role of leadership. We are not taking any assumptions because it's a learning session, and learning has no finishing line. So we're looking at the roles of leadership. Some of them we might be knowing, some will be probably some reminders, some will be some probably new to us. But let's dig deep into this session and see what we can be able to pick. And as usual, feel free to utilize the chat. If something catches your attention, please just share it with the team so that we can be able to see what your takeaway is. Okay, so let's just proceed. I'll skip this for today. So let me start with a recap. We started with the 6 I's and 1 T, or purpose-driven transformational leadership. A transformational leader needs to embrace the 6 I's and the 1 T of a purpose-driven transformational leader. What are some of those, what are the 6 T's and what is the 1 T? So just share whatever you can remember on the chat, or even you can just mention, because we are not so many, we can even mention. The 6 I's, which one can you remember?
Can you remember influence?
Yeah, influence.
Yeah.
Great. Annie, which one can you remember?
Give me a minute.
Okay. So the 6 I's and 1 T. And these are, every time we are defining leadership, these are very core, the core aspects that must come out in every setup that we are talking about leadership. So the 6 I's. 1, Brother Musheke has mentioned influence. So we still have 5 more. We still have 5 more.
What?
So we have
We have inspiration.
Inspiration. That is the second one.
Impact.
Impact. Great.
Integrate.
Integrate.
Then integration.
Integrate, integration. We'll put that into 1.
Yeah.
Let me see the chat. Integrity. Someone talked about integrity. And the 1 T. 1 T. Someone has also already mentioned transformation. So that was our first lesson. So we looked at the 6 I's, and the 6 I's are influence, integrity, integration, inspiration, impact, and the other one is intelligence, knowledge. So these are core. When we're talking about purpose-driven transformational leader, is a person of influence, is a person of integrity, is a person who integrates. You're able to integrate with your people. You're not boxed into our leadership space or our office, but we take a walk. We take a walk. We're able to meet the people and just identify with the people. This is what I mentioned when we were starting, that have your head in the cloud, but have your feet on the ground. Be ahead, but we be with the people at the same time. Inspiration, give people meaning. When we give people meaning, they want to be with us. They want to be with us. People want to be inspired. People want to be. People want to have some warmth. Yeah. So if you are a leader who inspires, you will find people wanting to just be around you. Because if they hang out around you, they know something will come out. Just a word, just an encouragement, just a word of hope. That visionary aspect of looking ahead, regardless of how the situation might seem at that particular time. Yeah. So an inspirational leader is a person that people really want to hang around with. And I think that is really what we are talking about, being transformational, purpose-driven leader. And then impact, that's our measure of success. Impact, growth in terms of intelligence, and then the overall basket fits into transformation. Okay, so I hope that is a good recap. Just to look back from where we started and where we are now. So today's lesson, we're just looking at what are the roles of a leader. And I will refer to a few others and a few leaders who have spoken very loud on this topic, and they are known because of their leadership styles and their investment in this topic of leadership. And one of them is Franklin Covey, and he talks about 4 roles leaders play that are highly predictive of success. If you adopt these roles, then we can predict that you are headed to a successful journey. And as leaders consciously lead themselves and their teams in alignment with these roles, they lay the foundation for effective leadership. Steve Covey has written a book. There is one book that is very common, and it's a book that has really sold very well. Anyone can take a guess which book it is? By Franklin Covey. Yes, The 7 Habits. The 7 Habits of highly successful individuals. So in the book on page 47, there are some blanks there. And the first blank space is one of the role of a leader is to create a vision. Leaders create vision. Yeah, or they capture, whatever word we might use there, but they are initiators. They are initiators. So they're able to capture the vision through different styles or different methods. It might be through a divine revelation. It might be through a realization of your own strength and your own potential and maybe giftings, and you realize this is what is coming out of you. So there are different ways that people capture vision, but that is one of the roles. One of the roles of a leader is create a vision. Clearly define where your organization or the team is going and how they are going to get there. So as I'm leading my team, and as you're leading your team, I think the best method of keeping people together is having a focus. As a nation, we are now talking about the Vision 2030. And I've kept on repeating this. This is what is guiding all other engagements, all the projects, all the activities, all the resources of the government. So at an organizational level and at an individual level, it's very important to have that clarity on where are we going, and also that reminder so that people don't lose the picture. But we're talking about the roles. So the first, we'll get deeper into vision in the other lessons that are coming. But the role is that as a leader, you need to be capture, create, or initiate the vision that will guide you as a team. Okay. The second role, execute strategy. Yeah, once a vision has been captured, it needs to be executed. It needs to be rolled out. It needs to be championed. And as a leader, we take a lead in the execution of the vision through a strategy, through a roadmap, maybe through a work plan, through some strategic goals. So this really gets into the deeper details on how the vision is going to be executed. So consistently achieve results with and through others using disciplined processes. So this is a team. It's a team approach. You are there as a catalyst. You are there as a champion. But the ownership of how to execute the vision is a co-shared role. Execute strategy, that is the second key role of a leader. The other key role of a leader is inspire trust. And this is coming from the second role, execute strategy. It's a team approach. And therefore we need to inspire trust. Be the credible leader others choose to follow. One with both character, competency, influence, inspirational, intelligent, a servant, and all these other aspects that will make people reciprocate by buying into the vision and walking the journey with you. So inspire trust, because this is leadership and it's about inspiration. It's about, I've captured a vision, but I need people to be able to walk with me throughout this journey. Yeah, so this is critical, and trust is earned. Trust is not given, and therefore we have to work on this. I mentioned that if you are an inspirational leader, people want to trust you, people want to walk with you, people want to give in their authority so that you are able to lead them and guide them through the journey of leadership. So this is critical and very important that we create the vision, we lead in the execution of the vision, the rolling out the strategy, and again, we inspire trust. And the fourth role of a leader is to coach potential. Yeah, just picture a coach in the field. You are able to know, you know your players very well. Last time we said, as leaders, it's very important that we are able to be conversant with our environment, and also be very conversant with the capability and the potential of the people that we are leading, so that we can be able to position everyone appropriately to maximize their potential, at the same time to be able to convert that potential into productive output of the entire organization or the entire team. So the fourth role of you and me as a leader is to be able to coach potential, unleash the ability of each person on your team to improve performance, resolve problems, and grow their talents, abilities, and potential. Yeah, so this critical, this is very important, and this is what secure leaders, they tap into this, because they feel that the more they're able to encourage people, the more they're able to lift people, the more they're able to coach people, the more the organization is able to rise. The lead, the covering of the organization is able to be stretched up. Everybody is able to move up. And if everybody moves up in terms of improving their leadership potential, then the organization is able to grow in terms of different other aspects that the organization is focused on. So these are some of the 4 roles of a leader based on Franklin Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And it's something that I want us to internalize, look at it from the picture of a personal approach, and also look at it from the picture of an organization approach. Have you created the vision, or have you internalized the vision at both those 2 levels? How is execution strategy? How are you inspiring trust so that you're able to work together with a team? And how are you coaching potential? So these are very important roles that we need to keep on reminding ourselves. So I'll move on to the second aspects that we'll also look at roles of a leader, and I will look at the corporate leader. We see also some of the roles. These roles are cross-cutting. Some of them are cross-cutting, and you'll see them repeating from what Steve Covey talks about in the other slide that I've just taken you through. So there are 12 roles of a corporate leader based on 1000adventures.com. And I've shared the link there. It's a business guide and cross-cutting roles that leaders play at different levels. And there are 12 of them. There are 12 roles of a corporate leader, and they're categorized into three main categories. So the first role of a leader is visioning and leading the way. And if you look back, you can merge that, or you can link that to create the vision. So in visioning and leading the way, modeling the way. So I'm able to see far, and I'm able to champion the way. I'm able to execute the strategy, or be a key catalyst in terms of championing execution of the strategy. So create an inspiring vision and some shared values. What connects us together? What are our beliefs? Be a change agent or a lead change agent by example, and also demonstrate the confidence. Let people have confidence in themselves, in the vision, and in you as a leader. So I'll look at this briefly as we move on. The second role, in the second category, empowering and energizing. This one we can talk about, you can link it to inspire trust and also issues of probably coaching the potential. So inspire and energize people, empower the people, communicate openly, and also the issues of being a good listener and supporting and helping the team to be able to move together. And then the third category in the roles of a leader is encouraging teamwork. Involve everyone. Basically, we are talking about use a team approach because a vision is bigger. A vision is always bigger than an individual. So if you really capture a true vision, it grows beyond even yourself. And therefore, the issues of having a team approach is very important, so that they're able to let the vision grow at its own diversity. So coach, bring out the best in your people, encourage group decisions, monitor progress, but don't micromanage. So these are some of the roles that we can look at. Basically, vision comes out very clear. Team leadership comes out very clear. Team issues of coaching or issues of empowerment comes out very clear. among other issues that probably you might capture or you might also reflect about as we move on. So feel free, probably we may want to add a few more. Feel free to share on the chat what strikes you or what you feel can also be another additional that we can take on board as we discuss this. Okay, so in the three categories that we have talked about, create an inspiring vision, that is envisioning and lead by example. There are sub-items there. There are 4 sub-items. We're talking about create an inspiring vision, shared values, I've mentioned that, give direction, and stretch the people. Stretch the people in terms of the goals, manage change strategically. That means you need to create a change management or change shift strategy. How do you overcome resistance? Very important. And how do you lead change? How do you overcome resistance? And how do you lead change? Those are critical questions that we need to think about even as we continue with the discussions. Then thirdly, lead by example. Practice what you preach. Set an example, share risks, share credit, and also share in problem solving. And lastly, we need to demonstrate confidence, as I've mentioned, win respect, trust without courting popularity. So these are critical issues when you are looking at creating an inspiring vision. I've been sharing the story of the children of Israel from the land of Egypt, the land that was not theirs, the land where they were slaves. And yet here comes a leader called Moses, and he wants to get these people who have been in this status quo for more than 400 years to another destination. And he was inspired to come up with a vision that was also very compelling and very inspiring, because these people are used to what they have been doing, and therefore when people do something for a long time, they get accustomed. So shifting them really has to be something that will inspire them to be able to move. And that is why for them, the shifting was through a promise of moving to their own land, a land flowing with milk and honey. And I always say, probably I would have also given up. I would have given in to follow, because this is a leader that was inspiring. This is a leader that was inspiring. This is a leader that you may want to work with, because it's really painting a picture of a contrasting picture from where you are and where he's taking you or is leading the team to. So inspiring vision, very important. Now the second category, but before I move to the second category, let me just recap a few issues when you are creating a vision. I'll refer to Proverbs 29:18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. When there is no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint. Where there is no vision, the people are uncontrolled. The greatest challenge that we are encountering now in society is this issue of visionary leadership. When people or when leaders lose the concept of visionary leadership, then we are trapped. We are trapped. We are trapped to be guided by many other aspects that come up. And even at some point, leaders get even personal, because there is nothing more that is guiding us. There is nothing more that is leading us to a futuristic destination. So leaders become distracted. We are distracted. Sometimes even people they lose direction. They start having their own guiding standard, their own guiding outputs. And people become wild, as the Bible says. The people perish People will lose constraint. People are unconstrained. You cannot control them. If we look at it maybe from even the family level, you look at it from individual level, unless there is a guiding vision, then at your own personal life and the resources that you have, there might not be a guiding channel on how these resources, and resources I'm talking starting from your own time, your own potential, how are you coach it, how you guide it, how you lead it. So vision simplifies life, makes life very simple, and it makes you have a very clear guiding standard on how do I engage and how do I play in this game of life. So the biggest challenge that we're having in society now is the issue of visionary leadership. This is a big challenge. And we hope that through this program, we'll be inspired, we'll be transformed. If we were already doing it, if we are already leading a vision, probably we'll be re-energized, we'll be catalyzed afresh, and we'll look at it from how do we probably share the message more louder than we were doing it before. Because if we are able to bring these concepts clearly, then we'll be able to help many people align their lives, and the potential that would have been lost will be redirected and guided and maximally optimized for the benefit of the individuals and the benefit of the society at large. So the very essence of leadership is that you have to have a vision. It's got to be a vision you articulate clearly, forcefully, and in every occasion. If you capture a vision, if you're leading a vision, we normally say that the proof of passion is repetition. You talk about it until you believe it, until people start believing. For sure, you are, what you are talking about is something that is there to stay with you. So leadership, according to Warren Bennis, is the capacity to translate vision into reality. The task of the leader is to get his people from where they are to where they have not been. You are getting people from the land of Egypt, the land where probably they have served under slavery or under some unfavorable condition, and you're leading them to a place where they have not been. And that is the concept of a vision. That's the concept of a vision. We'll get deeper to that in the lesson 11, when you'll be talking about the contrast between, when you're developing a vision, there are contrasting aspect, because you're talking about where you have not been, and it might sometimes contrast with where you are. So the second, in the second category, we're talking about empower, inspire, and energize. Energize the people. Be inspirational, and also energize the people. Create a positive environment. Create a positive environment. I remind you of the story of, I will refer to a Bible in some, just to build this concept, or to re-emphasize some of this concept. And I will refer you to a story of Jesus with his disciples and the 5,000 women, excluding the children and men, out there in the wilderness. And people are hungry, they need food, the disciples are here, they don't know what to do, and the only suggestion they can give to their leader, to the leader who was Jesus, and even themselves, they were leader over these people, is to let the people go back to the village so that they can be able to get food. But what was the response of Jesus? Jesus responded by telling them, give them something to eat, give them food. And this was a contrast, because we have come to you because we have nothing. And here you are telling us, go back and give them food. In other words, he was trying to shift their thinking, create an environment where you can now think about why did he have to give that directive. In other words, it was also creating an environment where you can start looking at what they had. And at the end of the day, whatever was there, whatever was given to the people, it did not originate from Jesus. It originated from the crowd, from the people, because the disciples went back and probably they started asking each other, what do we do? And maybe interacting even with the people. And this is why I always emphasize that we are not at the monopoly of answers, but when we create an environment where people are able to think soberly, an environment where people are able to look at how do we offer solution, how do we look at what we have in a different way, we end up getting solution. And that is how a solution was gotten. So inspire, create an environment where people are able to look at what they have probably in a different way, look at their potential in a different way, and bring it out, refine it, and probably serve it in a different way. Empower people, delegate authority, communicate openly, and be willing to discuss and solve problems together. Listen with understanding. I always insist that we don't listen to respond, we listen to understand. We listen to capture, to be able to really understand what the other party is talking about, and then we are able to respond appropriately. The final category, build and lead team. And we just talked about this, that we need to, it's about team approach, facilitate cooperation, involve everyone as much as is possible, trust your team, rely on their judgment, bring out the best in the people that you are leading, have common touch with them, coach and provide effective feedback, and permit group discussion or decisions, help your team reach better decisions, monitor progress, but don't micromanage. Lead your team, avoid close supervision, do not overboss, do not dictate. Lead team self-assessment. Yeah, we're talking about leadership, and I think it's good to have that self-awareness. We talked about management versus leadership. So you need to know where to draw the line. Where to draw the line. Where are you more inclined to? Are you more inclined to management, or are you more inclined to leadership? What are your strengths? Yeah, so that you can be able to maximize on your strength and complement the areas that you feel you may not be that strong in. You complement that. So you look at maybe some of these aspects that I've mentioned might be more inclined, some of them to management, because when I'm talking about corporate leadership, there is also that aspect that brings or emphasizes so much on issues of management, because they're very critical. Now, as we close this, as we come to the end of this lesson 9, I just want to recap by saying that leaders cast vision. As a leader, you as a leader cast vision. Remind people of the vision so that we don't lose the big picture, we don't lose the direction, and we don't get distracted along the journey. Inspire hope, influence by inspiration, and or any other aspect that are positive, inspiration or positive influence, impact positive change at the organization level and at the individual level. Remember, we talked about ambidextrous leadership. Those who missed the session talked about ambidextrous leadership. And maybe those who are there, someone help me just to remind the team, what does ambidextrous leadership entail? I know there are different aspects that we talked about, but you can mention one of the aspects that you remember. Either the chat or you just unmute and mention. But as you do that, let me check. I've seen someone has sent something. You can unmute and just, what does ambidextrous leadership mean? A recap. Ambidextrous leadership. Are we there? There were different aspects.
Ambidextrous is handling, actually doing dual leadership, doing two things at a go.
Dual leadership.
Like, for example, Nehemiah used to let people do the work, and they were also praying. They were holding the materials and also building and also praying. They were doing some dual kind of activities at the same time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, I don't know whether I'm right.
Yeah, you are right. You are right.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Any other attempt? That is one aspect, and it's we discussed about that. Ambidextrous leadership. That was the buzzword for the last class. Okay, let me see the chat. So Annie talks about leaders who explore long and short-term goals, new opportunities, while exploiting existing ones. The ability to use the left and the right hand equally. You have nailed it. You have nailed it. The two of you have nailed it so well. So when you're talking about ambidextrous leadership, as Brother Msheke has put it, is dual leadership. The ability to use the left and the right hand simultaneously. In other words, focus on the long term, but at the same time, optimize on the short term. Because both of them are critical and they're important. Look at the existing opportunities, exploit existing opportunities, but at the same time, keep an eye on exploring the long-term opportunities. So you're able to address or you're able to take advantage of what is available now, the opportunities available now, but at the same time, your eyes are also looking at what are the future opportunities. And lastly, you're able to build an organization, but you're also able to build the individuals. Yeah, because the two of them, and especially if the individuals do not grow, in other words, we are talking about the organization cannot also be able to grow. And that is why corporate companies are very keen on equipping the people. Yeah, effective leaders. Effective leaders or purpose-driven leaders. We must be inspirational leaders. And what do inspirational leaders do? Plan with the head, but lead with the heart. They appeal to people's hearts more than their minds. They influence through servanthood. Effective leaders know that you first have to touch people's heart before you ask them for a hand. That is the law of connection. That is John Maxwell. This is a concept that I really insist, especially when I'm talking to not just religious leaders, but all categories of leaders, that if we touch the hearts, they will not struggle with the hand. And this is a concept that effective leaders optimize so well. Effective leaders, they understand and they know that the first thing is to touch people's hearts before we can ask them for a hand. Yeah, you touch the heart because it's the heart that controls all the other parts of the body. And if the heart is touched, then these other aspects that we look at, probably we labor so much to get to them or to attract their cooperation, they become much easier. They become much easier and people are able to be more cooperative. If people realize that you have their best interest at heart, then they can be able to submit to you. They can be able to walk with you. They can be able to take the journey with you. And this is a concept that Nelson Mandela employed. And he was saying that if you are humble, then people realize that you have no hidden cards in leading them. If you are a person of humility, you have no hidden cards in leading them. You are not there to manipulate them. You have the best interest of them at heart. And this is one of the approach that people are able to submit their influence, and you're able to influence them. And that is how we talk about influential leaders. So I trust that we can recap and just think about these issues at your own personal level. Look at the issues of what vision am I championing at the organization level, wherever you are, the people you are leading, so that we are able to solve some of these challenges that we are encountering within our society. And that brings us to the end of lesson 9. As a leader, this is our challenge. What key roles are you playing to influence positive change in society and to create a better world, a better organization? And where are you in those roles that I've shared? Just evaluate yourself. Which roles have you done successfully, and which ones do you need probably to engage more, or even to start engaging in those that you feel you have not started, or you are there, maybe you're playing them at a minimum level. Just look at it, evaluate yourself critically, and it's our encouragement. We don't take time to look at this leadership challenge, but this is why we emphasize that review the manual so that you can be able to take this leadership challenge and see where you need to improve and to grow as a leader. So that brings us to the end of lesson 9, and I will take just some 3 minutes to look at the chat, what you have shared. As I take a breather, I will request Reverend Kahindi just to probably share from the chat, and also whatever else you may want to emphasize, or just to echo the concept that we have discussed today. So Reverend Kahindi, if you can have 1 or 2 words as we shift to the lesson 10. At the same time, we'll be looking at the chat. Let's see what you have. So if you haven't shared and you feel there's something you need to share on the chat, please proceed and just share on the chat so that we can look at it together. Okay. So let me see the chat. I think I read what Anne talked about. As a leader, let me see, there's another comment here I've seen. As leaders, we listen to understand, not to respond. Yeah, thank you for that observation. That is a takeaway. Touch the heart, and the hands will do the walking. Wow. So you can share your takeaway. You can share your takeaway. Feel free to share your takeaway as we shift to the next level. Yeah, kindly discuss more ways to touch the heart so that we do not struggle with the hand. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Anne. We'll be talking about issues of communication. We'll be talking about issues of purpose-driven leader. And these are some of the concepts that will help us to be able to touch the heart. I've talked about issues of having no hidden cards, and many others that will come as we continue. Yeah, so Reverend Kahindi, if you have a comment, I think we have looked at the chat, but if you have a comment, you can share your comment on what we have discussed, and then I'll pick up for lesson 10.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Leo mnaona ambidextrous, that big word, I think that's what I want to begin with. An example that Chairman had given us is when you're quoting about Nehemiah, and the people had at one time to be constructing and at the same time trying to guard. So you hold a gun on one side, and then the other side you are with a kijiko ya kujengea, ambidextrous. A story I normally remember when you talk of ambidextrous is where one old man was fishing with a man who was teaching. Now, using this, they row, and then after some time, when there's water, they have to go and to take out the water. So when it became so tough because it's in a storm, a lot of water was getting in, it was so that you keep it stable. And the student got confused and was saying, "Now, master, what do I do? Should I push the hose or should I fish the water?" And the master told him, "My son, do both, do both, do both." Ambidextrous. That's being ambidextrous. My lesson, what I've learned from this lesson, improve. I think my close the police people at home. Thank you very much, Chairman. Pick it up from there.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Kahindi. Thank you so much. So are we ready for lesson 10?
Sure.
Redefining leadership. Yeah, redefining leadership. And before we get into this session, I want us to do a simple exercise. I think I didn't prepare you in advance, but if you're able to get a sheet of paper, please get a sheet of paper, maybe from a notebook, just a blank one. And if you are able to put your video on, that will also be good because we'll want to see at the end of the exercise what you have. So we'll take this a very short icebreaker. A short icebreaker. So just have a sheet of paper with you. If you can put your video on, that will be good. So just have a paper like this. Paper like this. Good, 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 good. So I'll give you some instructions. I'll give you some instructions. Now, with your paper ready, the first instruction, please close your eyes. Close your eyes. And then I want you to fold that paper. Fold the paper in half. While your eyes closed, fold your paper in half. Sasa wale hatuwaoni, we just hope you are doing this, even if we are not seeing, you're not seeing you on camera. Okay, cut off the top right corner of the folded paper. Cut off the top right corner of the folded paper. Cut off the top right corner of the folded paper. Good. For me, I can see what you are doing. So just keep on moving Trust me what I'm telling you, just proceed. Fold the paper in half again. Fold your paper in half. Fold your paper in half. Okay. Then cut off the top left corner of the paper. Cut off the top left corner of the paper. You are doing well. You are doing well. I can see what you are doing. So keep on. Then fold the paper in half again. Fold the paper in half again. Okay, that is great. Cut off now the bottom right corner of the paper. Cut off the bottom right corner of the paper. Okay, now unfold your paper. Unfold your paper. Yeah, now you can open your eyes. You can open your eyes. Okay, so I want us to just display your paper. We just want to look at your paper and compare your paper because instructions were the same. We want to see if all of us have a similar output. Yeah, I can see Anne's output. Let me see, Brother Musheke's. How does yours? I can see Brother Musheke's. I can see Pastor Kahindi's. I can see Milka. So are there papers that are the output is same? Kuna ile inafanana na yako? Are there that looks like anyone that looks like yours?
Yeah,
yeah, I can see Annie and Reverend Kahindi. You have some similarities. Let me see. Even I think Milka's in a way. I can see Rebecca's. I can see Musheke's. Musheke's is very unique. Iko na mashimo pale ndani, a few of them. Wow. Now let me give you the answer. There is no answer for this exercise. Yeah, but I don't know what do you pick from that? Instructions were the same. You had no chance to ask for clarification. You just had to follow instructions. And I could see some of you, you are in doubt. It's like you wanted some clarification, but there was no window for that. And some of you just, in a slow, hesitant way, just took steps and did according to the instructions. So what one takeaway can you, what one lesson you can take from that? I'll start with Anne. Annie, one lesson that you can take from that icebreaker? Yeah, you can unmute, Anne. Kindly unmute.
Sometimes it's okay to believe and trust in somebody else's vision if you can trust them. Because I didn't know what I was doing, but it's beautiful. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to believe in someone else's vision. And you know, when you'll be selling, when you're selling our vision, sometimes that is how it looks like. Others may not be able to connect clearly, but some will trust you, and they'll say, let me just walk with her or him. I hope we are going somewhere. But for you, you already, for me, I knew from the first instruction to the last, and I knew when to stop. Yeah, so I think I like that. Milka, one lesson you can pick from that exercise, you can unmute and just share.
Yes, what I can learn, what I have learned is that you can trust someone and follow instructions. Then you end up getting some results.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
Thank you.
But following instructions.
Okay, thank you, Milka. You know, when you're working with a true, let me use that word, a true leader. Last time, I think I mentioned that true leaders are very mobile. Yeah, they're very dynamic. Before you settle, he's already in something new. Before you settle, before you build the tents, like what Peter said. Why don't we just build a tent here and rest here? And the leader is already moved to something else. And just take these pictures. I'm probably a true leader that I'm talking about, very dynamic. Before you settle, we're already in something else. And there's a lot of uneasiness and a lot of uncomfort feelings. But at the end of it all, the leader might have maybe a bigger say in what.
Oh, Chairman, welcome back. You left us, you went to darkness. So I was giving two lessons here. Let me just give them before I let you go on.
Yeah.
One, when you're leading people, when you give information or instructions, expect to get different results from different people. Now, to minimize the disconnect, lesson number 2 is give more information and be much more specific when you are giving the information. Because when he said fold it into half, we didn't know from which side. When it's like that, do we go this side or do we go that side? Oh, which side? This side, because this one could also be half. Okay, so give more information. Thirdly, allow for questions from your team so that you can clarify. Then that way, when they have understood you better, the outcome will be more refined. Thank you very much, Chairman. Continue from there.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor Kahindi. Paul Msheke, any comment on that as we shift gears?
I think I totally agree with the Reverend Kahindi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has taken is a photocopy of what I had in mind.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor Kahindi. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Pastor Robert, I don't know if you have any comment on the icebreaker? Or Lillian. Lillian, any comment? You can also feel free to
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Lillian, welcome.
Thank you. So from my comment from the icebreaker, what I've picked, apart from just to add on what Reverend Kahindi has said, is that as a leader, you also, your team must have some confidence and trust in you, so that when you're giving instructions and they can just follow you. You have to work in building their trust and confidence, so that they can take your instructions and just to do them.
Great, great.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Lillian. Confidence.
Thank you.
Communication. All those are some of the aspects that are coming out. And I think I will not re-emphasize more than what you have brought out, all of you. Those are some of the issues that we can pick from that exercise. And as we move on with the redefining leadership, some of them will keep on popping up as we move on. And just feel free again to keep on sharing on the chat as we continue. So for the interest of time, let me move on to lesson 10. This is our last lesson for today. I'm going to take you through a journey of redefining leadership. So we're going to look at different set of definitions of leadership. And then at the end, we'll do, we'll look at the common elements. And this will help us just to mirror. This will be like a mirror. I'll be looking at myself. As we look at this definition, look at yourself as a leader. Look what resonates with you as a leader. Look at what you feel is a trigger or is something that provokes you. Probably it's something that you may want to impress from now henceforth. So this is a journey of just looking at different concepts on leadership as we journey through together. So follow me as we move together. Now, my first question, and I think I will not, this one I'll want you to share on the chat. Who, in terms of a leader, would you be willing to follow? Who, in terms of a leader, would you be willing to follow? Maybe one quality of a leader that you may be willing to follow. You can share on the chat. One quality, maybe or two. Which kind of a leader would you be willing to follow? Yeah, so just feel free to share on the chat as we look at this. But as I've said, we're just going to examine different definitions of leadership. And then we identify some common elements. So I'll not wait, but you can keep on sharing, and then we'll look at it as we continue. So the first concept when you're redefining leadership, we talk about leadership is first personal, then public. You remember the leadership pyramid? The leadership pyramid, we start at the personal leadership, and then we move on. Personal leadership, we move to team leadership, we move to organizational leadership, business leadership, and then at the top, okay, there's strategic leadership. At the top, at the very top, we have movement, leaders of movement. Those are public, at public domains. And but leadership is first personal. First personal, then public. Personal discovery and manifestation. So discovering, becoming, and releasing your strength, yourself. That is how we enter into the realm of leadership, because we influence others probably by leading ourselves to a level that we become inspirational. And Professor Dr. Mohammed said, leadership is a function of knowing yourself, having a vision that is well communicated, building trust among colleagues, and taking effective action to realize your own leadership potential. So I think you can look at, you can connect this with the icebreaker that we have just had. But it's first knowing yourself. And that is why self-awareness is very important, because I cannot develop what I have not identified. Unless I know my strength, then I may not be able to refine it. It's through refining that strength that distinguishes one to a level where you become influential to other people. So the most effective way to lead is to lead from within, a sense of purpose. That is issues of personal discovery. No leader sets out to be a leader. People set out to live their lives expressing themselves fully. When that expression is of value, they become leaders. So the point is not to become a leader. The point is to become yourself, to use yourself completely, all your skills, your gifts, and energies in order to make your vision manifest. You must withhold nothing. You must, in sum, become the person you started out to be and to enjoy the process of becoming. This is Warren Bennis. And I think these are very relaxing words. There are times we struggle with this issue of leadership. Yeah, but I think this makes it so natural that you can just become a natural leader. Natural leader. The point is to become yourself, to use yourself completely, all your skills, gifts, and energies in order to make your vision manifest. So as I tap into that potential, it gives you some authority to influence, some credibility to influence. I'll give you an example. I initiated a forum for coaching others. But for me to initiate that forum, I had first to demonstrate some competence or even some works relating to issues of authorship. There is no way I would have invited others in an authors forum before I demonstrated the potential of authorship and the works, also probably having some work relating to authorship. So that becoming an author myself and having published some books gave me some authority to be able to influence others. And this is what we're talking about, just becoming that natural person and maximizing the gift that is in you. The second asset, the second definition that we are looking at, leadership is servanthood. The natural sensation that I've talked about, that consciousness that one is obliged to serve and it's first service before leading. You serve until you have followers who also end up becoming leaders. And this is what Jesus talked about. The Son of Man did not come he did not come to be served, but to serve. It's from servanthood. It's a concept that we normally talk about so much, but if we internalize and just think about it more and more, there's a lot of weight when you're talking about servanthood. So the servant leader is servant first. So this leadership begins with a natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That person is sharply different from one who is a leader first. Yeah, so there are people who serve into leadership. They serve into leadership. And those people who serve into leadership, they keep on serving. When they become leaders, nothing really blocks them from continuing to serve. Because it's not the title, it was the service that they were offering that shone the light of leadership. So those who served to leadership will continuously be in a serving mode at whatever position they are at. J.F. Kennedy, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And I added by saying this, ask not what others can do for you, ask what you can do for others. Everyone can lead because everyone can serve. That is James Stroke. Everyone can lead if we can learn to serve. We can all lead if we can learn more and more how to serve, because that is where it all starts from. Leadership is a lifestyle. Yeah, leadership is a lifestyle. Very important concept that we're looking at when we're redefining leadership. Leadership is everyone's daily business. Yeah, we all lead in our own domain, in our own areas of knowledge, in our own areas of influence. I normally pose this question. If you look at a car, that in the bonnet there are different components. There is the main engine, there is the battery, there is the terminal, and many other components. And I normally ask leaders this question: between the battery, the terminal, and the main engine, which is the most important part of that car? Which is the most important part of that car? Or among the three that I've mentioned? Leaders, which is the most important? Just share on the chat for 2 minutes, for 1 minute. I've talked about there is the engine. Let me just call it the engine. The main engine, there is a battery, and there is a terminal. That small, the small terminals. So which is the most important? Yeah. So let me take some 1, 2, or 3 responses. Which is the most important? Pastor Robert says all are important. Next, I'll take 2 more. Engine and battery. Engine and battery. So terminal hapo imewekwa kando kidogo. Last one. Let me take the last one. None can do without the other. Very, very important. And you look at the terminal, very small part. But remove the terminal. Will that car move? It cannot start. Remove the battery, the engine that keeps on saying I'm the engine, it can't move. It cannot move. So they all need each other. And this is the idea, especially when you're talking to different organizations. We emphasize that everyone in their own domain is very important, and they play a leadership role at that domain of influence or the sphere of service. I look at probably in the office, that lady who makes tea is very, very crucial and very important. You can do a letter, but you cannot drop it where it's supposed to be dropped. We had an incident in our workplace where someone who was supposed to deliver letters decided he will not deliver letters. He could take them and hide them somewhere. And when we were waiting, confirming if people are coming for the meeting, everybody is saying we didn't receive the letters. And letters were written, sealed in the envelope, handed over to the person who was supposed to deliver. But for about 1 week, he just accumulated the letters somewhere and quietly kept quiet. We were messed up because of that one leader. So the issue is that everyone is very important. From the least, let me use that word, least, to the highest leaders in hierarchy. They are all very important. The engine is very important, but at the same time, the terminal is very important. And this one makes everyone appreciate themselves and appreciate the others. No one says I'm the least, and no one says I'm the main. We all say we are all important because we all have a place to play in this game. So it's a lifestyle. Leadership is everyone's business and is a highly learnable skill. It is the person, not the title, that creates real leaders. A true leader will want or will add more value to the titles. When they get into a position of leadership, actually they make that title more valuable, and they're not limited, but they're able to go beyond probably what is already seen. So leadership permeates, it infuses a leader's lifestyle and is manifested in the actions, beliefs, values, and attitudes of a leader. So the moment we take the mantle of leadership, there is no way we can say I was in a private setup, especially when you talking about political leaders. Yeah, everywhere you are a leader. For those who get into the clubs, when they get there, you are a leader. So what happens there becomes a public discussion. Yeah, so I think this is a garment that is not it's not removed and put on. It is there to stay. And when we become leaders, we have pastors here. As that pastor, you go anywhere, it's just with you. It doesn't leave you. It sticks with you wherever you are. There's nowhere I'll go and say, now I've left it out and now here I'm just Kahindi. Don't call me Reverend. It will still stick with you wherever you are. And I think this is very important so that we embrace it in that positive aspect. Leadership is coaching, positioning, empowering others to function better and maximize the team impact or the individual impact. Good leaders position themselves. Great leaders position others, but ultimate leaders empower others. Great leaders do not set out to be leaders, they set out to make a difference. It's never about the role, it's always about what you want to achieve at the end of it all. So before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. But when you become a leader, success is all about growing others. This is Jack Welch. So as we let our light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. This is Nelson Mandela, one of the leaders that we keep on referring to because of his sacrificial concept on leadership. So as we let your light shine, as you become a better leader, you unconsciously give other people permission to also become better leaders. Because if I improve my leadership concept or my leadership capacity, the same way I'll be able probably to lead better and also enlighten others and give others permission also to be able to shine in their leadership roles. So leadership is a privilege to better the lives of others. It's not an opportunity to satisfy personal greed. That is from our own former president, Mwai Kibaki. It's a privilege to better the lives of others. It's not an opportunity to satisfy personal greed. And when that is lost, we get into a chaotic scenario. So leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence. I said that if you are in the presence of a true leader, you'll want to be that leader tomorrow because there is so much inspiration. There is so much you tap into that person. He makes you feel like you are in somewhere you just enjoying the experience and the positivity. You want to dream more. So leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence, making sure that the impact lasts in your absence. Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to be able to empower others. Yeah, I think as leaders, these are very heavy concepts and very, very touching aspects that we just need to keep on scaling ourselves and just looking at where are we and how do we keep on becoming better and better so that in my absence, others will still feel your presence and in a more positive aspect. So leaders become great, not because of their power, but because of their ability to be able to empower and position others for greatness. So coaching, the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things, but that leader that gets people to do the greatest things. This is Ronald Reagan, who was the president of the US. So leadership is unlocking people's potential to become better. As we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. That is Bill Gates. Coaching potential, leadership is about three things: to listen, to inspire, and to empower. This is Larry, president of Garfield Group. He said leadership is about three things: to listen, to inspire, and to empower. Leadership is the ability to recognize the special abilities and limitations of others, combined with the capacity to set each one into the job where he will do his best. That is Oswald Sanders, spiritual leadership. So we're talking about coaching, to recognize the special abilities and limitations of others. If I position a goalkeeper as a striker, I will lose it as a team. And even to that person, I'll not be fair. That person will not be able to optimize their potential. So combined with the capacity to set each one into the job or into the position where they can be able to do their best. So leadership, fifth one, leadership is influence. And how do we achieve this? Through inspiration, motivated by passion, which is generated by a vision. A vision will generate passion. Visionary leaders are passionate. They are alive because they are not limited with what they see or the environment, but what limits them in other words, or what keeps on, what triggers them, what keeps them focused is what they are seeing, not with the physical eyes, but what they are seeing, what they can conceive in their own hearts. Yeah, you are a Moses in a land in slavery, but because I'm seeing a land of our own, then that gives us passion. Passion to communicate, passion to lead. So influence is achieved through inspiration. When you give people meaning for their lives, they will be one to walk with you. And that is one way of influencing the people that you are leading. So I'll move a bit quicker. I'm seeing we are not doing very well on time. So leadership is having a vision, sharing that vision, and inspiring others to support your vision while creating their own. I remember the ambidextrous leadership. Having a vision, sharing that vision, and inspiring others to support your vision while creating their own. Yeah, so as a man without a vision for his future will always return to his past. A man without a vision for his future will always be limited by the present and will also be limited by the past. Effective leadership, you need to provide the vision and the motivation to a team so they work together towards the same goal, and then understanding the talents and temperaments of each individual and effectively motivating each person to contribute individually their best towards achieving the group goal. So leadership is influence. If your action inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. John Quincy Adams. And Dr. Miles talked about leadership is the capacity to influence. How do you influence? Through inspiration and through a passion, through a vision, and the conviction that comes from a sense of purpose. A leader is one who sees more than others sees, or others can see, who sees further than others see, and who can be able to see before others are able to see. The sixth one, leadership is a privilege. To serve and produce more leaders. It's a privilege. So the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. Before you are a leader, as I said, success is all about growing yourself. But when you become a leader, success is about how do I grow more leaders. And the function of leadership is to produce more leaders. A leader is the one who knows the way and is able to lead the way, go the way, and show the way. It's a privilege to be able to lead others. Leadership is becoming your best at your craft, becoming the best at your field, becoming the best at your potential. And Martin Luther said this: if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will pause to say, here lived a great sweeper who did his job very well. Can that be you? Can that be me? Can that be said about me? Can that be said about you? That here lived a manager who did his job very well. Here lived a teacher. Here lived a pastor. This is very inspiring, and it's a trigger that we just need to keep on recurring, and just every time I mention this quote, I think more about what am I doing, how am I doing it, am I giving it to the best, and I really feel that I need to